Titanfall 2 can run up to 6K resolution on the Xbox One X. What is this trickery you speak? Check out the rest of the video. What up everybody, it's your boy Nautical back at it with another video. So, there has been a lot of developers that have proclaimed how powerful the Xbox One X is. Microsoft's own Mike Ybarra came out and said that it's basically a $1,500 PC squeezed into a $500 system. We also had a bunch of just different developers come out and say how phenomenal it was, how it was a beast, how powerful it was, and it just seems like the floodgates have opened from a lot of these developers just talking about the Xbox One in a really great light. Now, we have a brand new developer added to the mix. Respawn Games, maker of Titanfall 2, formerly known as Infinity Ward under Activision. DKo5, he is one of the original people from Infinity Ward. He basically put up a NeoGAF post. If you don't know who he is, here's a couple of pictures of some stuff that he did in some of the video games before, namely MW2, which is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. He was one of the people that was shown in the Flag Runner video, which was amazing, showed off a little bit of the teamwork in a scripted environment. They also showed off the AC-130 gameplay, but you can see this is him playing the game in these clips. So he's been around the block for quite a long time, actually working with Infinity Ward, now with Respawn Games. And this is something that he had to say when it comes to the power of the Xbox One. And I quote, "When it comes to X1X, it means that there are times where it renders at higher than 4K and then downsamples to whatever resolution the X1X is outputting to. It is truly glorious on a 4K display." This quote will come back to haunt me, I'm sure of it. But there were times on War Games, last time I was testing, where it was rendering at 3200p, which is 6K internally. The internal render resolution is detected by the GPU load. So obviously there are no guarantees as to how often it renders at particular resolutions, but essentially we're using 100% GPU at all times. Now, when most people hear this, all they hear is 6K, 60 frames per second, Xbox One X. How does that happen? Well, he actually went a little bit further because he was getting a lot of comments about this post in particular and what he actually meant and how was this possible on the Xbox One X. So I'm putting up the entire quote from the explanation that DKo5 just had for anybody that had any questions about what he meant by outputting at 6K resolution. But just to give you like a Cliff Note version, he basically talking about how it's dynamic and basically how they're able to, instead of having a locked resolution and an uncapped frame rate, they're doing the opposite. They're doing a capped frame rate, but an unlocked dynamic resolution. So when he says that it was at some points, the resolution was at 6K, he's basically saying that the Xbox One X was capable in certain parts of the game to render at a 6K resolution and then downsample it to 4K resolution. And then whenever the game would get to like really tumultuous times when they were in their testing, like a bunch of scorchers put together, he even talked about how the resolution would drop, but the frame rate will stay consistent. So there will be times where that frame rate will probably drop just below 4K just to maintain that 60 frames per second. But the fact that he said the Xbox One X was able to, at one point, render a 6K video and downsample it was glorious to see on an actual 4K monitor. And there's one part of this whole quote that I want to pick out, and it's one part, and I'll read it to you right here. With all that said, Titanfall 2 running on an X1X dev kit at my desk does not reliably run at any internal resolution. The output resolution is 4K, but it rarely sits on just 4K. It dips and rises constantly, the same way a PC game running uncapped will never just sit at one frame rate. What we essentially have done in theory is go from a locked resolution and variable frame rate to a locked frame rate and variable resolution. This does not mean the game is always 60 Hz, as there are points in the game where we are not GPU limited or we are GPU limited, but the lower bound isn't low enough to maintain 60 Hz. Try getting a dozen Scorched Titans all throwing incendiary traps in one spot. In the instance where we are CPU bound, we actually increase resolution until we become GPU bound, keeping the GPU pumping. Now, as for the 6K comment, given the previous example, I was running some redacted on war games and happened to see the scale factor was at 1.5 times while shooting some grunts. 3840 by 2160 times 1.5 equals 5760 by 3240, which is roughly 6K. As I originally said, no guarantees or internal resolutions at any time, but it was pretty amazing to see how high it was going. Good times it was. So, to my conclusion, Xbox One X can run Titanfall 2 at 6K resolution in short bursts. Not going to happen all the time. You're very rarely going to see it, but that does bode well to us getting a constant 60 frames and a really nice 4K visual experience when we play this game. Unfortunately, Xbox One X doesn't come out till November 7th. I do want to try that out on Titanfall when they do it. I haven't even played the game yet when it comes to the single player, but I have been playing the multiplayer. So part of me wants to hold off and wait for that so I can actually try it out and see what it's like. But being a gamer and having these games here at my disposal, probably won't be able to do that. I might just have to come back and try it out again later. But guys, what do you think? Do you think Xbox One X is definitely capable of this? And do you think it's going to be able to do this in other games going forward? And do you think the PS4 Pro can pull off the same thing resolution-wise? Leave a comment down below and let's talk about it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you liked it. Make sure you hit that notification button, let you know the next time the video goes live. It's your boy Nautical. It's going into the weekend. You have a great one, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.